So I'm Dr. Regina LaRouque. I'm an infectious disease specialist and an associate professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, and I'm a member of Greater Boston Physicians for Social Responsibility. So now I'll explain to you a little bit about what we've done over the last few years.
Let me ask the question. Could you tell us what your concerns are about the Weymouth Compressor Station?
Yeah. So we're an organization of volunteer physicians and public health experts. We're well known around the country for our activities advancing public health and opposing nuclear weapons. And for years we have been drawing attention to the known health risks that this facility represents for people who live in the Fall River Basin. We've also been drawing attention to the explosion and safety concerns from this facility. We have written a number of extensive and detailed reports outlining these concerns, and we have taken the concerns directly to the Massachusetts leadership and administration. We are really despaired that the facility now is in operation and in fact has had 2 emergency blowdowns in a very short period of time, frankly, which underscore that our concerns about the safety risks of this facility were correct. And frankly, we've been calling on the administration of the state and the federal oversight to shut this plant down.
Could you tell me about the infrastructure that's in close proximity to this plant and what the dangers are regarding that?
I don't have that off the top of my head super well, but I'm just going to say...
Just stuck in general.
Yeah. So, in general, we well know that the Fall River Basin is a site of a lot of industrial infrastructure that is already in existence. And prior to the construction of this plant, we already know that people who live in the communities surrounding these industrial sites have higher risks of cancer, asthma, other respiratory diseases. That was before this plant was built. And we know that the gas that is released from this plant is a potent human carcinogen and respiratory irritant. And so these health risks are only going to get worse as the air quality in the area around here worsens.
And could you speak about the kind of things that are chemicals that are stored around here and the potential of those exploding if the plant explodes?
Well, I think what I can speak about most clearly is the explosive potential of the gas itself. So I think we know that this facility operates under very high pressure and pumps through its pipelines a material that is highly explosive. We've already experienced in Massachusetts in the Merrimack Valley what it looks like to have explosions of low pressure gas. So this facility pumps high pressure gas. So an explosion at this site would be catastrophic. It would impact the bridge that is here behind us. It would impact the other industrial facilities nearby, which similarly contain explosive materials. It is possible that it could set off a ring of destruction around it that would risk the health and safety of many thousands of people who live in quite close proximity to this site. So the gas that is pumped through this facility is comprised primarily of methane, but it also contains other air pollutants and air toxics. So aside from its explosive risk, there's also its risk to human health from breathing this material. So a few years back, with some pressure from health advocates like our own group, Physicians for Social Responsibility, Governor Baker ordered a health impact assessment for this facility. The health impact assessment was performed by the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, and it was a flawed process. Shortly after the health impact assessment was released, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council made a public statement that they opposed the construction of this compressor station. they also subsequently solicited an external review of their health impact assessment so that they could understand better, I think, what went wrong in their process. And that was performed by a group in the UK called Public Health by Design. And they recently released their report. And frankly, their report supports the grave concerns that many of us in the health profession locally had raised about that health impact assessment. It was flawed, it was incomplete, and it was inaccurate. It failed to accurately account for the true risk that this facility presents to people in the surrounding area. It disregarded the safety concerns, and it did not consider the effects of this facility on climate change. Furthermore, it disregarded the extensive soil contamination at this site. This site is contaminated heavily with arsenic, and there were legitimate concerns about the construction process itself. Those were disregarded in the health impact assessment. So unfortunately, the health impact assessment was, I guess to put it politely, a whitewash. And we are now seeing, with the way this plant is operating, that the safety concerns are paramount. There was a large volume release of gas twice in short order in recent weeks, which raises real concerns about safety and explosion risk. And there has been no formal assessment of that done. We don't know how we will evacuate people in the event of an emergency from this very tenuous site, which requires evacuation over a bridge. So if there were to be an emergency with casualties, how would an ambulance get across this bridge if it's down? How would we evacuate school children and residents who literally live across the street? We at Physicians for Social Responsibility have already outlined our concerns in writing about the true emergency response problems that are faced by this site, and these have not been addressed. There is no plan for dealing with a catastrophic explosion at this site. No plan. And it poses a grave risk to all of the residents who live nearby.